5 over 3x.
Yes. So how I like to remember slope is y over x. I also say rise over run. I don't know if you guys still say that. Do you guys still say that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So that negative sign is going to go with that 5, right? So we're going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, don't make a mark. But and then over 3. 1, 2, 3. And then that line, if we connect those two, hopefully we'll get it to match correctly. That will be the line for that equation. Then we're going to do the next one. Okay. We're going to start off with the y-intercept again, right? And this time, what's our y-intercept?
It's -3.
-3, yeah. So where x equals 0, y equals -3. And then our slope
is 1/3 x.
Yeah, 1/3 x. So we're going to do 1 over 3. So we're going to go up 1 over 3.
Over 3.
Then we connect those two.
You could still keep going.
Yeah, we could
go down 1 and then to the left 3.
Yeah, I guess mine isn't as accurate as it should be. Yep. But really, we're just trying to find where the two lines intersect, right? To find the solution for these. So we did that right here. So what's going to be our solution for this problem? I know these numbers are kind of hard to see.
It's going to be 3, -3.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let's do some more. These are kind of fun. Maybe I should find one that isn't given in slope-intercept form. We'll do one more like that, and then we'll see if I can find some other ones. Because you're probably given it in like a totally different form and have to change it out, right?
Oh, yeah. We have like same lines and we have parallel lines too.
Okay. Well, what would the solution be for our parallel lines?
No solution.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's do this one. Go up so everyone on the live stream could see. Hopefully that's big enough. I don't think I could make it any bigger. But let's start off with the first equation we're given. Y equals -1. What is that line going to look like?
There's no slope.
No slope, correct. So what is it going to look like?
Just going to be on the y-axis.
Yep. Well, yeah, if you really mean y, it's going to be whatever. Every solution is going to be y equals -1, right?
Yeah.
So it's always going to be this line, right? It's going to be parallel to the x-axis because y equals -1 for every solution. So that's that. So that's the graph of that equation. For the next one, y equals -5/2 x plus 4. So how are we going to graph that one?
4 is our y-intercept. So we can plot that. And our slope is -5 over 2.
Yep. So we're going to down 5. 1, 2, 5 over 2. 1, 2. I don't know if you can see my counting, my tick marks, but I think we could go over again if we wanted to. Over 2 would be over here off that graph. So that would be the graph for that second one. Right? So what's the solution here?
2, -1.
and -1. Perfect. Okay. Let me try to find a problem where we have to kind of alter the equations. Give me 1 second. Unless, actually, while I do that, how about I give one to you to solve on your own and see if you could do it. Maybe draw like a graph in your notebook or something and see and let me know what solution you find. 1 second. Let's do this. So while I go find more problems for us to do, go ahead and try solving that on your own on a piece of paper or something and see what you get for your solution. Okay, let me know when you get an answer or if you want to work on it together so I could draw it out.
I have my answer.
Okay, what's your answer?
It's 3, -2.
Yep, that's right. You want to help me explain to everyone on the live stream how we did that?
Yes.
So what did you do first?
I started with the first equation.
Mm-hmm.
And I plotted -3 because it's my Y-intercept.
So you got
And then,
this right at this point?
yes.
Wrong everything? Okay.
And then my slope is 1/3 x. So I went up over 3, which got me to 3, -2.
Mm-hmm.
I drew my line.
Mine might not look as perfect, but yes. And
And then I plotted my second equation. So I started from +1, which is my y-intercept.
so when we say the y-intercept, we're going to say 0, 1, like as the coordinate. But yes, that's right.
And then my slope is -x, which could also be -1x.
Mm-hmm.
And then I changed that into -1/1x.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down, and I went down one and over one.
Yep.
And then I kept doing that until I got to 3, -2, and that's where they intersected.
Perfect. So our solution here is going to be 3, -2. Yep, that's exactly right. Okay, so I found some more problems where it might require extra work, like how you probably get it for your homework. So we're going to have to change these equations that were given into slope-intercept form rather than just it being given in slope-intercept form. So I got these problems online, but I think they'll work great. They came with graphs and everything for us to use. I'm going to paste one of the problems. And we'll just keep working through these. Hopefully that's big enough to see. Okay, so we're given x plus 3y equals 3. I know we kind of worked through how to get these into slope-intercept form first or before. So I think the best way to do this, you could also let me know what you do in class, Anastasia, is I just solve for y and keep whatever is with x, and hopefully we could see the slope-intercept form. So is that what you normally do, Anastasia, or do you have any other ways of doing it?
Wait, doing what?
To change this into slope-intercept form, because slope-intercept form is in y equals mx plus b, right?
Yeah, I usually do that.
Yeah, you solve for y, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Not
I'll
why, but like.
try to get into this format.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do, I just try to focus on y, since in this format, y is by itself. So I'll work out this one and then we'll work on some together. So I'm going to start off with adding or subtracting anything first. I think I've talked about that in previous lectures. To isolate a variable, just add or subtract anything you can first if there's nothing to simplify, right? So here you can't really simplify anything because really there's a 1 attached to this x, and these are 3's, but we can't divide that 1 by 3 to simplify it in any way to make it work easier for us. So what I'm going to do here is move this x, and to get rid of x from that side, because we're focusing on trying to get this y by itself, we're going to subtract that x from this side. Sorry if that's not unclear. Let me just rewrite it. So I'm going to subtract x from this side of the equation, and whatever I do to one side, I got to do to the other side. So then this gives me 0, and I'm left with 3y on that side. And on the right side, I'm left with 3 minus x, right? And then, again, I'm trying to isolate y by itself. Some more space. And to do that, I have to get rid of this 3 that's attached to that y. And 3y is really just 3 times y. And to get rid of the multiplication, you divide it by that number. So I'm going to divide this by 3 to get rid of the 3. And then I'm going to divide this whole side by 3. So I'm left with y on this side because we just undid this multiplication. And then I'm going to divide this by 3. And to divide this by 3 is really going to be in parentheses. We have to divide both of those by 3. So it's really going to be 3 over 3 minus x over 3. And 3 over 3 is really just 1, right? And this is really 1/3 times x. So it might be easier to look at it that way. And then this is going to be 1. I like to add the negative 1/3 x, since this negative sign is going to go with that. And we're left with y on that side by itself. So this kind of looks like slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. If we rearrange it to look exactly like this, it'd really just be y equals negative 1/3 x plus 1. And that's why I like to pull out that negative sign whenever it's attached to that x for these equations of lines, so that we could see that the slope is there clearly. So that's going to be the slope-intercept form of this equation that we were first given. Let me write it up here so we have it. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 1. And now we could do what we've been doing, for the past other problems. We could just graph them. So the first thing we're going to do is use our y-intercept, like what we've been doing, which is 1. So we're going to, when x equals 0, y equals 1. So I'm going to plot that right here. And then I'm going to use the slope, and it's going to be negative 1 over 3, negative 1 over 3, and negative 1 over 3. So we should probably do some more on this side, but it's going to be up 1 over 3, but really minus 3. Over here. So we're going to connect all those lines, and that's going to be the graph of that line, right? And then our next equation is y equals 2. So whenever, for any value of x, y is going to equal 2. So that line is just going to look like this. And where those two lines intersect, that's going to be our solution. I didn't draw this as straight as I should have, but this is a point on both lines. So our solution for this problem is going to be negative 3, 2. Does that make sense, Anastasia? Do you have any questions before we do another one?
Now I understand.
Okay, so let's do some more. I have to snip it again. Okay, cool. Let's get us some more space. Screen acting a little slow. Okay, so the next problem, let me blow it up since we're live streaming. Okay. So 2x plus 10y equals 50. What should we do first? You know what we should do first, Anastasia? You're the only one on the call. I don't know if anyone's answering on the live stream. So we're given 2x plus 10y equals 50 as one equation. We're given 2x plus 5y equals 20 as another equation. We're trying to solve for the system of equations by graphing. So what should we do first? What did I do first in the last problem? Oh, Esther's here. Well, I don't know if you're busy, but I'll go ahead and go through these problems and hopefully you could come back at them and look and try them out yourselves. So the first thing we're going to want to do is change it into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And to do that, we're going to solve for y, since y is by itself on this side of the equation. So we're going to isolate that variable here. And to do that, we're going to add or subtract anything we can first. If we can't simplify, and looking at this equation, it doesn't look like I could divide all the numbers to get a smaller number that's not a fraction. So I'm going to move that 2x first, since we're trying to get that y by itself. So I'm going to subtract, sorry if you can't tell, I'm going to subtract 2x from this side of the equation, and I have to also do it from that side of the equation. So when I do that, I'm only left with 10y on this side of the equation, and I'm left with 50 minus 2x on that side of the equation. And to isolate y, or get y by itself, we're going to want to divide, because 10y, 10 is a coefficient, is really just 10 times y, right? And to do that, to undo that multiplication, we're going to divide by 10, get rid of that multiplying by 10. So we're going to do that on that side. And then we have to do it to the side as well. So we're going to divide the whole side by 10. And to do that, we have to put this over 10, and we also have to put that negative 2x over 10, because really we're distributing this divided by 10 to both of those terms. Next, we simplify. We have y by itself already, so we're going to simplify this side. 50 divided by 10 is really just 5, and we're left with, if we simplify this, if we divide both the top and the bottom by 2, we're left with 1/5, negative 1/5, x equals y. And that's pretty much what this is given in slope-intercept form, but I'm going to rearrange it a little to make it look like that. So we're left with y equals negative 1/5 x plus 5. This is the same thing. So that's going to be our slope-intercept form for that first equation. And then we're going to want to do the same thing to the second one, because we can't really figure out how to graph. I personally, looking at it, I can't really figure out how to graph that without changing it to slope-intercept form. Hope you guys are still there. If not, just chat or something.
I'm here.
I'm going to go ahead and keep going.
Okay.
It says Esther's still connecting. So we're going to do the same thing to this equation. 2x plus 5y equals 20. Let me write that over here. And let me circle this so I remember that we need to use that to graph the next equation. So it was 2x plus 5y equals 20. Again, we're going to just solve for y. And to solve for y, or get it by itself, we want to add or subtract anything or simplify first, but there's nothing that we could simplify here. So we're going to subtract that 2x first, and then we're going to subtract it from this side as well to get y by itself. Remember, we're trying to isolate y. And we're left with 5y equals 20 minus 2x. Then to get y by itself, hang on 1 second. I am so sorry. Give me 1 second. Hang on 1 second. My tablet disconnected. Okay. Hopefully you could still see my screen. I'm going to be using my mouse now. So I apologize if my handwriting isn't as well. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so back to the problem. Hopefully you can still see my screen. If not, just say something. I'll try to fix it. But let me zoom in since we're still live streaming. Okay, so back to isolating y and getting it by itself. We want to divide this both sides by 5 to get y by itself, because 5 times y is really, or 5y is really just 5 times y. So to get rid of multiplying, we got to divide. And we're going to also divide this side. Sorry, my handwriting isn't as good, the mouse, but we get y by itself. When we divide that out, and then we're going to divide both the 20 by 5. Should be that negative 5. And that 2 by 5. X. And then from there we could simplify. This is really 4. 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Minus 2. That's x, y. And if we want to rewrite it into slope-intercept form where it's y equals mx plus b, we just got to rearrange it. So it's really just 2/5 x plus 4. All right, so let's go ahead and start graphing to solve this problem. I think I did that correctly, hopefully. That's 2x, 20. All right. So what we're going to do first is use the first equation that we solved for the slope-intercept form. We want to graph the y-intercept first. And the y-intercept is going to be that b in the y equals mx plus b form. So the y-intercept is 5. So when x equals 0, y equals 5. So we're going to plot that right here. 0, 5 is that coordinate. And then we're going to use the slope. So the slope is negative 1/5. So it's rise over run. So we're going to go down 1 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Up 1 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to be the equation, or that line, the graph of that line. Oh, not straight, but it's supposed to be a straight line. Next, we're going to do the next equation that we solved for the slope-intercept form. And this is a plus sign. So when x equals 0, y equals 4. We're going to put that right here. Excuse my dots. And then our slope is negative 2 over 5. So we're going to go down 2 over 5 up 2 over 5 where it meets right here. And then we're going to connect those. Maybe I should use the drawing tool. But really, they meet at this point. It's kind of hard to see, but if you were to make perfectly straight lines using a ruler and not a mouse like me, you would get this point where they intersect. And that point is -5, 6. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to do one more problem since we still have time. If there were any other questions, I know it's just Anastasia in here, just let me know, but I'm going to go ahead and do another one. Get some more practice in. Let me snip it and add it to this document. Give me 1 second. Oh, my screen is moving. All right. Make it bigger. Oh, I showed you the solution already. Hold on 1 second. Let me do another one since I showed the solution for that one. Actually, you know what? I'll do it. And if you need to go back and look at how the straight lines look, you could go ahead and back up in the live stream recording. So you have the answers with straight lines. Okay, so this is our next problem. We're going to do the same process that we've been doing. So we're given 3x plus 2y equals 12 and x plus 2y equals 8. And we want to first change these into slope-intercept form so that we have a better handle of how to actually graph it. So we're starting with 3x. Oh, maybe I should draw a little bigger for everyone on the live stream. Sorry if my handwriting is bad again. So we want to get y by itself. So this is 2y, and it's 3x is added to it. So again, you want to simplify both sides by dividing or dividing by a number to get them into smaller numbers that aren't fractions, but we can't do that here. So we're going to subtract. So we're going to subtract that 3x from this side to get rid of it and move it to this side to get y by itself. We got to do the same thing to this side. So now we're left with 2y on this side of the equation equals, and we'll leave the -3 here, -3x plus 12. The next thing to do is to get y by itself is divide both sides by 2, because this is really just 2 times y. So to get rid of that multiplication, we're going to divide this side by 2, divide this side by 2. So when we do that, we get y by itself. And on this side, we really got to distribute this to this entire side. And since we're adding, we got to divide both terms by 2. Which we get -3 over 2x plus 12 over 2, which is really 6. And let me just rewrite all of this. So that will be the slope-intercept form for that first equation. We're going to do the same thing to the next one. X plus 2y equals 8. So first thing to do, simplify, can't simplify. Then we're going to try to get y by itself. So it will look like the slope-intercept form equation, which again is y equals mx plus b. I don't know why it's slanted like that, but so to do that, we get y by itself. We can't simplify, so we're going to subtract this x first from both sides. So now we're left with 2y on this side equals 8 minus x. You want to get y by itself. And to do that, we have to divide by 2, since this is really just 2 times y. So divide this side by 2, just like that other one. Divide this side by 2. We're left with y on this side. And we want to divide this whole thing by 2. So we're left with 8 divided by 2 minus 1/2 x. I'm going to simplify and kind of rearrange it to look like this. Oh, this I meant to underline that. Y equals negative 1/2 x. That's going to be our m, our slope over here, plus 4, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. And the next thing to do is graph it. We're going to graph both equations, and to solve for this problem, I guess I should have been putting our point in here. We're going to solve the solution of equations, or system of equations, we are going to see where the two lines intersect. So using this first equation that we found for this first line, we're going to use the y-intercept, which is 6. So 0, 6 is going to be that point for the y-intercept where x equals 0, y equals 6. So our first point is going to be here. I'm going to try to make it big so you guys can see it. And then we're going to use the slope. So our slope is negative 3, 2. Sorry, 1 second. Negative 3, 2. So we're going to go down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. And then we could connect those lines as straight as possible to hopefully get an intersecting point. Let me grab another color, and we're going to do this equation. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. That's a plus sign, sorry. And our y-intercept is going to be 4. So whenever x equals 0, y equals 4. So that point is 0, 4, which is right here. And our slope is negative 2x, negative 1/2 x, negative 1 over 2x. So then that's going to be down 1 over 2. And since those 2 points meet in the same plot, I'm going to go ahead and graph it. And our solution for the system of equations here for these two equations is going to be 2, 3. So you might have seen that as my solution when I copied and pasted the wrong graph, but our solution here is going to be 2, 3. Looks like we still have some time, so I could do another one. If you don't have any other questions, we can go ahead and do one more. If you're still there, I'll go ahead and do another one. Let me go and copy and paste it into my notes. Thank you, Anastasia, for asking the question. It's good for anyone watching this, if you have any questions about 7th and 8th grade math, feel free to send them in and we will try to get your question answered. You could send in practice problems and we could prepare for them ahead of time. So do one more. A little bit of time left. Okay. Make it a little bigger for all y'all watching. Okay. So we're first starting off with negative 15x minus 6y. So the first equals 18. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to change it into y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form. Hopefully you can see that. So what we're going to do first is solve for y. So to do that, we have to either simplify the equation or add or subtract. And it looks like we could simplify here. So let's divide, all these numbers are divisible by 3. So let's go ahead and divide each of those by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5, so 5x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. So we got some smaller numbers to work with. Okay, and then we could do what we've been doing for other problems. We're going to get y by itself, so we subtract 5x over here, subtract it on this side as well. We got negative 2y by itself. We got negative 5x plus 6. Sorry for my handwriting. And then we're going to want to divide both sides by negative 2 to get y by itself. Do that to this side as well. And we're left with negative 5x over negative 2 minus 6 over 2. So we get negative 3 over here and 5 halves x here equals y. Then we're going to want to do the same thing to the next problem, change it to slope-intercept form, or the next equation. We got 3x, so 3x plus 6y equals 18. It looks like these are all divisible by 3 as well, so we could go ahead and do that. Divide all the numbers by 3. Got x. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so it's just x. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so we're with 2y equals 18 divided by 3 is 6. Then we get y by itself. Subtract that x from both sides. Plus with 2y equals negative x plus 6. Divide both sides by 2. So we get y. Get negative 1/2 because we're dividing both terms by 2. And 6 divided by 2 over here is going to give us 3. So let's graph these. Start off with this one. Start with a y-intercept, which is going to be 0, negative 3, 1, 2, 3. And our slope is 5 over 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. Count that right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Oh, I counted it wrong. 1, 3, 4, 5 over 2. So this should be the point. And then we could connect those to get a line. Hi, Esther. We're almost done.
Hello.
And then we're going to plot this graph. Our y-intercept is 3. So we're going to start here. 3, 1, 2, 3. And our slope is negative 1, 2. So down 1 over 2. So they both meet at 2, 2. So that's going to be our solution. This point right here. So I hope that was helpful. I think we're getting close to our time. If there aren't any questions, I don't think I have time for another one. It's a little longer than a couple minutes. So I'll wait on for maybe another minute. If there are any other questions, feel free to ask if you need any clarifications on this. Anastasia, you could give me a thumbs up if you're good. That would be great. I hope this was helpful. Ace your next test. send in some more problems if you need to for next week.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello.
What did you say? Sorry, you're cut out. Oh, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know why it's cutting out. But I hope it was helpful.
It was.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay then. Yeah, you have the recording, so if you need to go back, you could go ahead and go back. But yeah, we'll do some more problems next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop sharing. Hope this is helpful for everyone on YouTube as well.
Hello.
Bye. Hello and bye, Esther.
Bye-bye. I pledge to be encouraging and supportive with my word. I pledge to be positive and helpful. And also, I pledge to be honest, considerate, and thankful for others no matter what. I pledge to be responsible and respectful. No matter what, I pledge to be a friend. Hello. Good morning. Auntie, it's 5:30.